Hi class, in today's lesson we're going to be discussing how to identify the parts and the purposes of an effective paragraph. Now read over this paragraph about a common film that you guys have seen, Finding Nemo, and then afterwards we're going to be discussing what makes this an effective paragraph. So what did you guys find looking through this paragraph? What makes it effective? What makes it something that we like?
It goes from more general stuff to more specific stuff.
Can you explain that?
Well, it starts off saying how the father and son develop a stronger relationship, and then in the other sentences it shows how they did that.
Right, so it starts out with a general idea about their relationship and then brings it down to specific instances. What's something else that we like about this paragraph?
It's consistent. It only talks about the dad and the son. It doesn't talk about Dory.
Right. We talk about the same two characters throughout. We don't throw in any additional ones to throw off our reader. Alright, great. So now let's direct our attention over here to the components of an effective paragraph. These aren't in the right order. I mixed them up purposefully so that we have to pick them out and try and fit them into the model of what are the sentences that in their order make up this effective paragraph. So we start out with a concluding sentence, concrete detail, commentary, and a topic sentence. Now I'll guide us over here. I have drawn different symbols to represent all of the different 8 sentences that come up in this paragraph. Now what I'd like you to do as we go through each of these symbols, to write them next to your sentences so that it will help you remember what are the different types of sentences that make up my paragraph, and it will become easier for you to do it on your own and you don't have to keep looking back at these symbols. So let's start out here. We have a triangle that's broad on the top and comes to a narrow point. What about this triangle? What's kind of ideas and the imagery that we get from this triangle?
It gets narrower.
And because it gets narrower, we're assuming that it starts out more general and then it's coming down to this point, it's getting more specific. So what out of the terms over there gives you that idea of something that starts out more generally and that might try and bring us into something more specific?
Topic sentence.
Right. Now a topic sentence is telling our reader what's the topic of our sentence. Of our paragraph. We have all these different topics out there and we're bringing it down to one topic, and then from that one topic we're bringing it down to these specific instances we want to talk about. So the next part, it's our, we have these rocks. I'm sorry if it doesn't necessarily look that way. What are the characteristics of rocks that make you think that would come into this idea of an effective paragraph?
It's hard. It's concrete.
Right, concrete's a good one. They're solid, they don't move, they stay in the same shape. So what out of these terms makes you think of this concreteness of rocks and this hardness, solidity?
Concrete detail.
Right, exactly. Concrete detail. Now who can pick out what our concrete detail is in this sentence?
At the beginning of the movie, Nemo gets so embarrassed by his dad Marlin being overprotective of him due to his underdeveloped fin that he runs away from him.
And why is that concrete detail?
Because it actually happened. It's like an event. He runs away.
Yep, it actually happened. It's an event. I can stop my movie at that specific point and say, this is when that happened, when he got embarrassed or the point when he runs away. Those are specific details. Nobody can tell me that's false. So let's go on to our next section. We have these clouds. What do you think the clouds represent? Why would we want to talk about that in our paragraph?
They change, like they're not as certain or like defined.
Right, they're not certain, not defined. Very different from our rocks. So what out of these terms makes it seem like it would fit best to describe one of these clouds?
Commentary.
Commentary, great. Now where do we see commentary inside of our paragraph?
Since Marlin was overprotective, it made Nemo not feel strong and independent due to his physical disability.
Where is that?
It's the third line, all the way on the end. Right there.
Yes. Right, so we have our cloud here. Yeah, and Nemo wasn't feeling strong and independent from his physical disability. It's not a point where we can say that's where that happened in the story at 21 minutes. It's an idea that we get when we see that Nemo got embarrassed and he decided to run away. We think, well, why did he do that? Oh, because he wasn't feeling strong and independent. It made him feel bad because of his disability. So that's where we put in our commentary in that section. And as we have the next one, we see another commentary over here. So you guys can place in for the next section. We put in as well as a concrete detail and 2 commentaries. You can put that on through the rest of your sentence as you see them, the rest of your paragraph as you see those come up. I'd just like to ask though, why do you think that we bring in another set of concrete detail and 2 commentaries?
It makes your argument stronger if you have more than one example.
Perfect. And that idea comes up earlier when we have these 2 pieces of commentary. We didn't only put 1 piece of commentary to support our concrete detail. We put 2 because it strengthened our idea when we said not only that Nemo didn't feel strong or independent, it also, the fact that he didn't feel that way made his relationship with his father feel very strained. And so we see that coming up again throughout the rest of our paragraph. Now I'll finish up. We have a triangle that points upwards. What ideas do we get from that, and what term does that make us think of out of our components of an effective paragraph?
Gets more broad at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. And so which term would we pick?
Concluding sentence.
Right. So as a concluding sentence, we see it coming to a broad idea at the end, but it had started out more specific. By almost losing his son, Marlin had to learn that he must trust his son despite his underdeveloped him, that he must trust him, and they must have this to create this good relationship between them. But it's that evidence we looked at to support it. So I'd like you guys to go on your own to point out the parts in the sentence that have those other pieces of concrete detail as well as commentary.